I get asked a lot of times, how can you be a mom and an entrepreneur at the same time? And I will have to say this, a couple years ago, I really could not answer that question. And it was a pretty difficult road. My name is Tanya the Truthpreneur, and I just wanted to tell you a quick story. So I don't know if this is the first time you've ever watched one of my videos or seen one of my blog posts or anything like that, but a little over maybe 10 years ago, I think, well, actually, let's go a little bit closer, a little bit less than 10 years ago. I had a really traumatic life experience, and in that traumatic life experience, right, I realized that I wanted to live a dream. I wanted to build a business, and what ended up happening for me was that I ran a brick and mortar, right, a storefront, and quickly, it was amazing, right? It was something that I had always dreamed of because I was in that adrenaline. I was still pursuing, and everything was fresh and brand new. And my now fast forward, or going a little further back, a little over the 10 years ago, my first high school sweetheart, we were married, and he passed away. And when he was killed in a hit and run motorcycle accident, something really just triggered in me. And I'll let you know that in 1 second. But this is what happened. So over time, as I started building my business, I met an amazing man, the man I'm married to now. And we have had a great life together. But a lot of the business aspect was stressing us out because, one, we had gotten pregnant. We already had 2 kids, so now that's 3 kids, and we had a dog, and we had a business, but he loved artwork, and he loved to do his part, but he just loved to do the actual act of what he was doing and not so much the business part. So it became, really difficult for us. And then, I had to really decide, with children and just sports and school and everything, and just being a mom, right? I was also sick after pregnancy with my little one, Zakiah. And so I had to take a couple months off of running our own business. And if I wasn't actually running it, if I wasn't there, because I was a photographer, honestly, I didn't make any money, right? Now, obviously our family has to eat and we have to survive, right? And going back to work was not an option because I was psychologically unemployable. And a lot of individuals will say, well, would you go ahead and just, let your kids, when they're 18, go ahead and live your dream. And, I just couldn't do that. And this is what I was going to tell you earlier about the experience that I had with my previous husband. What ended up happening was right before he passed away, he had just stepped in. He was in upper 20s and just stepped in and said, hey, you know what? I want to take apart motorcycles and build motorcycles and maybe paint them and do stuff. And he was really excited. He started finding out his dream and his passion. Well, in the process of finding his dream and his passion, he ended up dying before he actually lived out his true passion. He was working at Staples, and he started getting excited and coming home after work, and he was a manager and just started building and just being in the basement, in the garage area. And I say this to say that is what changed my life, right? Everybody's like, oh, you just went ahead and just ran a business. No, it was always in me. But the fear that I would die full and not die empty, right? All my gifts and love and passion out to reach the world I was more afraid of that than anything in the world. That vision of me dying full, seeing my husband die full, right? It was devastating. And that is what drove me. And so when, people ask me, how can you be a mom? I set my priorities, yes, but I never forget that feeling that I felt looking at my husband, dressing him before he was put in his casket, and seeing him go through that process after death. I will never forget the dreams and the passions that he died with that nobody will ever get to know and see. And the wisdom that he had was amazing, but nobody will ever get to know that. I keep that in the forefront. The other thing I did was I learned how to build a business online. I realized that I could actually do still what I love, but it allowed me to be able to have more flexibility, right? Because I was able to do what I love, but I didn't have to sacrifice my family. So I learned how to build a business online, and that is exactly what I do now. And I'm able to definitely help other people build their business online, but more so, I'm able to just live out the dream that God placed inside of me. And so I want to encourage you to do just that. Read throughout my blog post that this is attached to. You'll learn a lot of other things. I am just a person just like you, but I chose to have a pivotal moment of hurt, pain, maybe failure, lack, and I chose to make it something different. I chose to learn from it, and I chose to allow it to impact me in a way that was going to be positive and allow me to activate a lot within me and insatiably seek a better opportunity for myself and my children and for legacy. So Tanya Paxit, the Truthpreneur, coming at you. Follow your passion is the pathway to your destiny. Bye, guys.